Welcome back, guys. The next thing we want to design is our splash screen. Splash screen is the first thing you see on your mobile app. So if you don't know what splash screens are, just type splash screen on Google and you see what it means. So splash screen is a graphical interface that appears when the program or game is launching. It's also known as a launch screen. So that's what splash screens are. So we want to design the splash screen for our mobile app. So let me close every other thing. And here we are. We've talked about material design and all that. So we had a project we were working on earlier on. So this is the web design project we're working on earlier on, and this is the new one we opened right now. So this is the new one we opened right now, and this is the wireframe we did on VCD AI. So all I have to do is to ungroup this. So let me make sure I ungroup that. And the first thing we have here is the launch screen. So you could bring the launch screen somewhere, and let's say we want to redesign the launch screen. So this is a wireframe that will follow as a guideline. All we have to do is to increase this to like a 50%, and you'll see your guideline right here. So we have the launch screen right here, and you could easily see everything about the launch screen. You could see it right here. So you could move designs from page to page. So you could create a new page for all this. So let's say we want to create a new page. We would say we are going to say the app design. So we're going to name it app design. Yes, and coming here, we're going to create a new app, something afresh. So let's do that right now. So from here, I could actually move this to the app design layout. So let's say app design. So I could say I'm moving this to app design. So you could move it to app design. All you have to do is to come to the app design page, and you have what you just imported. You have it here. So you have it in app design. So let me just zoom it back. So let me zoom it in so you could see what we have. So let me zoom to fit, and this is the app design. This is the launch screen design. All you have to do, you could actually edit them from here. You could edit this design, or you start creating yours. So you could actually change the colors and change to your own color, like your taste. So you could access your colors right here, and you could say you want to access your libraries, and your libraries, you will see your colors. You see your different colors, and you could actually change your colors right now. And that's me changing that. So you could actually click into this, then click into the group, click into the inner group, then you have all this group. So you click into the inner group to see what it is all about, but not to stress yourself. You could see the inner circle is this, and you could click on it just to look for where that is. So you could have all these. You could see the inner group is right here. So you could click on that and change that color to, you could choose to change it, and you could choose to say whatever you want to say. But let's design something afresh. So I'm going to come to my frame. I'm going to choose my frame because I want to design something afresh for myself. I'm going to choose my frame right here, and I'm going to choose the phone I want to design for. So let's say we are designing for an Android compact screen. So I'm going to just start this way, and our splash screen begins this way. So right now I'll name this the splash screen. I'll just rename the frame. I'll name it a splash screen, since we could see our designs from here. So I'll say a splash screen. So we're going to design that. So designing a splash screen, this is the first thing the mobile app user would see. That's what it literally means. So here in the splash screen, I want to design the splash screen. So let's start something. So let's say we want to design something like a suit. So let's say we want to design a suit app. I'll name it a suit app. So let's start with designing the icon. So let's say we want to design the icon, or yes, let's design something like the icon. We could just start this way. So let me say I want to design the icon, and the icon is meant to be something like this. So let me say the icon is meant to be something like this, and I'll give this something like, I told you you could actually create your color style. You don't need to follow the local style or anything. So let me see if I could actually let's copy this here, and let's come and paste it in one of these designs. So let me say paste here. So you could bring designs from other places here. So since we have our local style here, what I will do easily is I'll just be copying. I've shown you different methods right here. You can move something to a new page and all that. So from the UI kit, I can just copy whatever I have. I can copy it right here and come and paste it here. So let's start with the mobile app. So here in the mobile app, I have the wireframe that I designed when I was designing a wireframe. So this is the mobile app wireframe. We could just leave this at this for now. So let's create something afresh. Let's say we are going to create the mobile app design. So we are going to name this mobile app design. I'm going to name it mobile app design. And right here in mobile app design, we have our local styles that we created from scratch and all that. So here in our mobile app design, all I have to do now is to create my frame. I'm going to create my frame, which should be an 100 compact frame. Yes, we're going to have this, and let's see what we have right now. So we're going to paste what we have from the screen, and this is what we have from the wireframe. So I'm going to paste it right here, but having to paste it is not enough, just to see the guideline on how to go about our launch screen. So right now we have the mobile app design, and this is it. We're going to name this a splash screen. So I'm going to build from here. I'm going to name it a splash screen, and your splash screen could be any color. You could choose to change this to the primary color. So since we have a primary color, just access your fill and access the libraries, then you change it to your primary color, then it changes to the primary color. Then you're going to have your logo. So since we have a website logo, all we have to do is, I think we have it as a component. So let's check our assets. Let's see our components. So here in our components, we don't have the logo as a component, so I'll make the logo a component right now. So let me just zoom this to like 100. So I'll zoom this to like 100, and I'll come right here to make the logo a component. So all I have to do is to group. Okay, so I'm going to try to, okay, since we have the navigation bar as a component, you could remember we have the navigation as a component. I think we have that. So we have the navigation bar as a component. So all I have to do is come back to my file and come back to my mobile app design. So right here, I'm going to bring in the navigation. So I'm going to say, let me just bring in the navigation. So let me come to asset, and let me come to created in this file, and let me come to navigation bar to bring in that as a component. So I'm going to bring in that, I'm going to insert that into this. So we have all these, and we're going to go back to our main file, and here's the navigation bar. So all I have to do first is to ungroup this. So I'm going to ungroup, or I'm going to, yes, let's make it, okay, let's see what we want to do. So we're going to come to the widget, and we're going to select all widgets. So we're going to make sure this is out. So let's bring out the logo. So I'll bring out the logo from here. So let's bring this out. These are the components now. All we have to do is to, let's see how we're going to, let's flatten it. Yes, we're going to flatten that, and we're going to, everything is now a vector. So let me just do that. Let me bring in our logo. You know, we have the logo here, BCS project. So this is the logo right now. So I'm going to just bring it into the app. So I'm going to bring it into this place. So I'm going to just bring it in, and here's the BCS logo. So since we are having the primary color, is not showing on the primary color, so all I have to do now is to change this primary color. I could easily change the opacity, so we could use the supporting color instead as the splash screen main color. So let me use the supporting color. So this will be it. So this is supporting color, and this will be Billard Creative Studio. Yes, Ctrl Z. So this will be Billard Creative Studio. So this will be a Ctrl Z, and all I have to do is to make this smaller. So we could just do something like this, and we have something like this. So this could easily come to the middle right here. So that will be our splash screen for now. So we have this coming to the middle right here. So that will be our splash screen. And from splash screen, we could have something like a login. So this is Billard Creative Studio, and we could have a login button and all that. So let's see in our assets, do we have any button? I don't think we have any button. So let's create a button right now. So I'm going to create a button that we could use across line. So we can come to our Android UI kits that we've been talking about. So you could come to your assets, and we could come search for button in the asset. So let's search for button. So let's see different buttons we have right now. So we have buttons right here. So I could choose any of these buttons. So you could just come right here and say button. You could just copy whatever button. So you could say button right now, and come to, okay, what we want to do now is to come to our file and come to our app design, the one we were trying to do earlier on from this. So I'm going to just come right here. I'm going to access the assets from the Android UI kit, and we have buttons right here. So we could choose our buttons. So we could choose this and we could insert this into our design. So this is all we have right now. So what I want to do now is to copy this. I'm going to just copy this button, and I'm going to come to this new design. Then I'm going to paste it right here. So I'm going to paste the button right here, and this is the button that I just copied. So I'm going to bring that into this, and let's do something like similar to this. So I'm going to just come right here, and here we are. So this is a component currently. All you have to do is to choose each component. So we could make it different. We could make this the primary color, and this we have the sign in. So we could change that to sign in, yes, and we could change this. So since we have a typography, we could come here to choose our typography. We could change it to the one for the body text. Let's see if that would be better. So I could just control A this, then I will choose my typography from here, and we have something like a body text. So we could say change it to like that sign in, and we could change this. So we could make this the sign up, and there'll be a sign in. So we say sign up, yes, this will be a sign up. Yeah, I'm going to control A that, then I'm going to come to my style to choose my style. I'm going to choose the 24, and here we have the sign in and sign up. So I'm going to choose this particular second button. So we're going to choose this, and we're going to change that as well. So I'm going to change this to like, I'm going to change to like a white, so we can change to a neutral color. But the text, we did not talk about the text. We can change the text as well. So let's change the text to our primary color, and here we are. So we have the sign in and sign up button. So you could actually see that this could be used, and we could have something like this, and here we are. So you could detach instances. You could just detach them just to have them detached. So we have them, you could have them detached from here. So we have all these, and it says remove auto layout, small layout option. So you have everything you can do. So you could ungroup as well. So we have them detached, we have them ungrouped. So we have this as a single button. So all I want to do now is to convert this to a button. So I'm going to convert all this. So I'm going to choose this. I'm going to choose the sign in. Yes, I'm going to say sign in, and I'm going to choose this. So we're going to have that, and I'm going to have them grouped. So you could just choose to group them. It's currently grouped actually, so we could just change them to a frame selection. And having to change them to a frame selection, all I have to do is to make them a component. So I'm going to say create a component out of this. So let's look for how to create a component. So we're going to create a component, and we're going to name it a button. So this is the frame. I'm going to rename it a button. So it's going to be a button frame. So we're going to name it a button, and that is our button frame right there. So this way, I think we've created something like a splash screen. For now, it might not look as elegant as it should, so we could just bring this something like this. So we have something like this, and here we are. So we have this button, and we could proceed right now. So we could proceed right now, and all I have to do is to see you in the next lesson on I'll delete this just to proceed. So we designed this splash screen for this brand, and we could proceed right now. I hope to see you in the next lesson. See you there.